Check it out!
Escape reality with Matt Z.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent.
That's it.
Well, goddamn, man. Well, it's about time you ended up on this podcast.
Yeah, bro,
cheers to that.
Yeah, I mean, much as well there, but.
Oh, okay. Cheers to that. Yeah, you were fucking
just cold,
enjoying.
so,
You're
yeah.
making out with that. You're looking like chilly. I'll say this room, this house, in the basement is so goddamn cold, and I do not understand
Bro,
how
I would
Tyler
love
can
it
actually like live down here and sleep
To
down here.
sleep, I can't sleep unless, like, I will, like, okay. If I'm in a car, if I'm in my room and it gets way too hot out, I will literally puke.
What?
I have to sleep in the cold fucking weather, bro.
Why?
I don't know. And I'm Lebanese, so how do you take a guy from who's originally, like, I was born here, but
Yeah.
I mean, whose like family came from fucking Lebanon, hot as fuck, to it's just weird, bro. It's just weird.
To Alberta, where you're just not even just.
It's weird. I'm telling you,
That's
fucking
weird,
weird.
man.
Yeah.
Well, I know, like, there's like the whole thing of when you're going to bed, your body has to drop like a certain amount of degrees before you can actually fall asleep.
Bro, I'm
So I understand that,
I'm like window fucking wide open, minus 30 weather. Like, I need that kind of cold. Yeah,
How many blankets do you sleep with?
one.
Dude,
And it's fucking thinner than this.
you
bro.
are
It's
fucked, man.
thinner than
What is
this.
going
It's
on?
thinner than this. Bro, I feel bad for my
What?
fucking wife. Like one day, man.
Oh, dude,
I'm gonna
you have
fucking-
some
yeah.
circulation, blood circulation problems
Bro,
going on in your
just get too
system.
hot. I just get too hot. And this was even when I was like a skinny, like ripped little fuck too. Like,
Really?
Yeah, I just couldn't.
My God, like, I understand the concept of having the window open, enjoying that minus 30, but being in like a hoodie, sweatpants, you know, you got those comfy, cozy socks on, you got 3 blankets wrapped around you.
I'm not nude, but I'm
Got a stuffed
pretty-
animal to cuddle.
I'm pretty like damn close to being like butt ass like naked. So it yeah, I don't know, bro. It's
How do you
it's
make it
fucked
during the
up.
summertime?
I really don't. There's like a fan like in like half an inch away, like blown. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Oh shit, man! I remember
fucked up.
there was one time this summer during that heat wave, and like I was at a point where I'd just get butt ass naked, and I would just lie on the top of my bed sheets, and like I wouldn't
Bro.
give a shit. And there was one night Tommy said, because Tommy goes to bed at like 3 a.m. He's fucked. So he said there was one night I walked
Was
past
this
your bed.
last year? Or was this?
Yeah, it was like this past summer.
Oh,
So
okay, never mind.
Tommy said he walked by my room at 2 a.m. one time, and just saw me laying there on my bed, butt ass naked with my dick out. And he's just like, I'm just gonna close the door.
Bro, when I went to 𝐂𝐿𝐎𝐿, right? It was our spring camp was. When is spring camp? Usually June, July.
Beginning of August, end of July.
No. Oh, sorry, not. Yeah. So it was like
Last week of July.
yeah, last July. Yeah. So it was plus 40. You get 5 out. But this is like BC heat. This is where like there's no humidity. It's just dry as fuck, right?
Yeah.
And I remember going to practice, and it was like the heat would, as the sun would hit you, and like all your hairs would just like rise up, and bro, it was fucking terrible.
Really?
So imagine me not wanting to be in the heat and then going to fucking that, bro. I was.
Well,
But I think
it's humid there too, isn't it?
not in the I think in
Really?
in Kelowna it is like when you get to the 𝐂𝐿𝐎𝐿, it's pretty good, but
Yeah.
in the 𝐂𝐿𝐎𝐿 it's just a fucking. I think it has something to do with like one of the guys was explaining because it's very mountainy, so not a lot of like 𝐂𝐿𝐎𝐿 is built at the base of a mountain, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So wind doesn't really travel as much, so it's like very dry.
Oh, so it's really sheltered then.
Sheltered as fuck, yeah.
Interesting, man. I always thought that shit was humid as fuck there. How,
Yeah.
did you like living in Kelowna? Like, do you
In
like
𝐂𝐿𝐿,
living
yeah.
in that type of like? Because I feel like BC. Sorry, I got the fucking hiccups.
No, fine.
Do you feel like BC and BC and Alberta are totally different lifestyles? And I know so many people in Alberta that want to move to BC because of the lifestyle BC has to offer.
I would love to move to the fucking.
You would, eh?
BC,
You'd
yeah.
move back in a heartbeat. Why?
I mean, I'm sure you're the exact same way. Playing sports your entire life, right? What are you wearing most of your fucking time? You're wearing some kind of athletic wear, right?
Yeah.
So don't be wrong. I love wearing suits and like getting clean and blah blah blah. But bro, I'm in sweats and a t-shirt or a shorts and like a pair of like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I was doing that in December when it was still plus like 5 out, and here it was like minus 20 and the snow was coming down. Like it was fucking awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
But the gas was ridiculous.
Price wise?
Bro, this was back then. So this is what, 20...
2018? 29? No.
Yeah, when was my year last year?
It would have been
Would have been a year.
My last year was 2019.
Yeah, so 20.
Because COVID hit and then fucked everything up.
Yeah, I would have been 2018 then, and.
You didn't play your 5th year? Oh no, you're done.
No, that was my
I'm
older, right? So it was $1.30, but that was when gas here was 90 cents, and I think gas there now is close to $2.
Fuck man, well I know it's $1.30 here now.
Yeah, so I can only imagine what is there, right? So
remember
I'm
that,
assuming it's somewhere.
First week during the pandemic, you go to the gas station, it's like 40 cents a liter, and you're just like,
bro, I was so happy. I was so happy.
Literally, I was like, wow, I'm just gonna burn through all my gas because I don't even give a fuck. It cost me $20 to fill up.
Those like what are they fucking called? Those, like,
jerry cans.
Jerry cans. Yeah, you filled up a couple of them, bro. It was so freaking awesome, man. And I was working at the no, I didn't, because I did when it was like close to like 60 cents, because I was working at the City Ford. And I got gas for like free there, so it was, I never had to like pay for it, right? But
lucky motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't really for you, but.
Do you like working in the car industry?
You know what? Money was great.
Was it?
Money was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Money was fantastic, but
I feel like there's a lot of douchebags though in the car industry.
Yes and no. I mean, it's there's a lot of old like good timers in there that are there just to like sell you a car once.
Yeah.
I ran it because like at that, it sounds corny and kind of like the cliche, but you are trying to run your own business inside your business, right? Like, it makes my job a lot easier at like that time. If like I'm not gonna like lie to you, I'm trying to make as much money as I possibly can, right? But I want you to be happy, because in a year, if your dad wants a car, if your mom wants a car, if your best friend, if your ex wants a car, you can be like, yo, like he gave me a good deal. That's one less phone call I have to make to try to sell somebody a vehicle, right? So I ran a little bit like differently.
It wasn't so greedy. It's more of like actually feeling you help people, because then if you help people, they're gonna refer you.
I mean, it's still the greed, to be fair, but you're not trying to fucking hammer someone into a vehicle. Like there's been times where, don't be wrong, where I take advantage of somebody and make $12,000 on a fucking the car deal, right? But but I mean, later on it was more just like building your own like repeat like and referrals.
Yeah, bring your own brand to like get people to come
essentially,
back.
Yeah, and then I mean, once again to like finance, it's a lot like easier. But I mean, you saw me when I was in my best shape. I was 190. Like probably 12% like a body fat. Like I was ripped as shit. I was going to the gym every fucking day, bro. With 2 years, that shit was gone, man. I was like 12 hours a day at work, and there was no gym. It was, and like you're not doing a whole lot of athletic, like shit. You're just like sitting in a desk all day.
Yeah. Do you think you had to go through a time of sacrificing your life for your work to realize that wasn't what you wanted? Like going into it, you're like, I'm ready to grind 12 hours of my day and like get this fucking bread.
Honestly,
and, like,
that made me appreciate having a balance of work and life.
It did, eh?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, well, I think it's important.
You had to learn so fast. Or I learned it, like, it's just like there's more to life than just making money, right? Like there's more life than just money, right? And I'm not gonna fucking sit here and say, oh, I made $500,000. Like I wasn't making crazy amounts of like money, right?
Yeah.
But it was enough where it was as close to six like figures. I was busting my ass off, but then I go home and I wake up in the fucking morning and I shower. I'm like, fuck, like
you do it all.
You used to
over
have
again.
abs, bro. Like what the fuck happened, right? Like
you
used to be super ripped and now you're just like this, right? So no, it's you know what? Like I told my dad once, I was like, I started to work it out in grade 7.
Yeah.
Until probably last year of Wildcats, because I didn't really work out to go play for Wildcats. It was just to go and play again, right?
Yeah.
So I was 23. So how old are you when you're in grade 7?
In grade 7?
Yeah. That's when I actually went to a weight room and started like picking up and running.
I don't fucking know, man.
What are you, like 13?
Sure.
So
no, like 10.
Okay, let's just say you're
11.
Sure.
11 and a half. Yeah.
So from 11 till 23, I ate a certain way. I worked out a certain way, and I looked at a certain way. I wanted to look at fucking this certain way, and then sales hit, and I kind of enjoyed a little too much.
Yeah.
So a part of it's on my fault, right? Like,
not finding that work-life
Exactly.
balance
Yeah.
earlier.
But I mean, to be fair, I also had my entire life of being in really the good shape and working out. I just wanted to enjoy it for a couple,
A couple years,
couple
and
years,
like you
yeah.
never know too. It's like you don't know if you want something unless you really try it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I feel like if you're like, yeah, let me chase the money a bit here, because I think we all at some point want to chase the money, even
You
if it's just even
sacrifice
if it's just to
something,
get
right?
ahead
Yeah,
financially.
exactly.
Because at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
it's how shitty it is. This world is run on money.
It is,
and
yeah.
it's used as a tool to get you ahead and get you. Because like Heinrich is on here like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about like money just buys you freedom to do stuff.
I saw your clip there where he's talking about his money market loan and shit. No. Which I mean,
Yeah, it happens to
whatever,
the best
yeah,
of us, bro. I would be there
whatever
too
gets
if
money,
my
like-
parents were nice.
yeah, maybe
100%.
we'll get to like that point, right? But like you always have that mindset, like I need money, I need to make as much as I can, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And when you have it, that's when I was like, for example, we were talking at when we were working out there. I kind of want to go more in like depth about there, but like my parents, like I said, they were well off.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't extremely rich, but I never had to like really work, right? When I started making the money, I thought about money. That shit was just gone, right? So it's like money is an important part of life, but clearly, but yeah, you really have to learn like that balance of like family, your friends, the work, and physical and mental health as well too.
Yeah,
It's,
well, I think that's the big thing, like how you feel yourself. And if you're sacrificing these 12-hour days, then not prioritizing your, like, just what you want to do in life. You know, what you want to do for like an hour or two every day, right? And especially if it's working out. Especially you and I come from a very athletic background. It's like Canada's very poor post-secondary athletics.
Oh, it's fucking
Like,
shit.
terrible, right? Like men's league, especially during COVID,
Bro.
men's league's been like a fucking joke.
Yeah,
You
I
know
was
what I
gonna
mean?
say, bro, like what kind of like again, I didn't have I had a couple offers. It was one was for Queens, one was for Waterloo, but they were just the walk-ons. Like there was nothing close to paying for school, blah blah.
Yeah, not full ride. Yeah.
You had a full ride, right?
Yeah.
But even that isn't like America, where your fucking school's all like paid for. They're giving you in a weekly like $1,000 to like pay for your bills, blah blah. Like it's not like
It was literally just like I think it was like $8,000 a year to cover your tuition.
which is nothing, bro. That blows my mind. Like, and
Especially
the amount
moving
of
out there, bro.
commitment,
That's like half the price of moving out
bro.
there.
And the commitment of like, again, I've never played in that like obviously in environment, but I know like buddies that have, and I've heard other professionals talk about it, bro. You're up at like 6 in the morning. You're working out. You practice in the morning. Then you go to school. Like, when do you have time to work? And especially if you're not like at home still.
Yeah. Well, like
bro,
that
it's
was
hard, bro.
like for me to, because like my decision came down to was I don't think there's gonna be a season, so I don't think they're gonna make me go out there for the year. So I'm gonna be able to chill in Edmonton for the year.
Yeah.
And it came like 3 or 4 weeks before they needed me there, where they said we still expect you to be here and finish your 2-week quarantine before restart football practice September 3rd, so we can get ready for the season 12 months from now. And I'm just like, I'm not moving out to the East Coast, paying all that money for like, even if my schooling's covered, like on a full ride scholarship, I'm still not putting up that money to like move out there and just to practice football for a year and wake up at 6 a.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m.
I promise you, if you
like, nah.
what it was well too, and you accumulated some kind of debt, that would have such a mental toll on you as well. Just like, bro, I'm telling you, man, like there's nothing worse in life than having like debt.
Yeah. Well, it's like I understand there's a difference between like good debt and bad debt, but like even for me, it's like when I get my credit card bill up to like $800, part of me is just like, oh, Matt, you don't like never in my life do I really need to spend more than $800 on myself on my credit card bill. So all I do is like gas and groceries on the thing, right? So like never more do I have to put more than that. So like I know if I get it up to like say 1,100, 1,200, I'm always just like, like maybe you should like reevaluate your expenses and see where money's going.
I was this is probably my 3rd year in sales, where like I said, I was making close to 6 at that time. I think I owed like $4,000, which was like in like I made that in a month. Like I could have paid that off and had money for bills and blah blah, right? But I know buddies of mine that I'm not gonna obviously name like names and shit, but one of my good friends, he bought a Jaguar or something, and he had like it was a lease, right?
Yeah.
But this guy's selling 4 cars a month, making $3,000 a month. His insurance is $1,000. His payment's another $1,000.
Yeah.
Like that's like that kind of debt would just like mentally just drain me.
Dude, especially in a fucking car.
Imagine
like, what is a car
an entire month just to pay off your fucking car.
You know what I mean? So you could drive it to work to then pay for it. It's so like
dumb,
cars are one of the worst things you can put your money into because the second you drive it off the lot, you're losing money off it.
Essentially, yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, all a car is to get you from A to B.
Yeah.
If you have a car that can get you from A to B, you don't need anything more.
Bro, I was so close to buying a truck my second year of sales when this guy, his name's Darwish 𝐂𝐎𝐿𝐿, he told me, he was like, bro, you're 23. Why do you need a $30,000 pickup truck? Literally. And this is me, like, I've never been into cars, right? But when you see nice vehicles, you're like, oh shit, like
that'd
this
be
would
nice
be
to
nice
drive.
have. Yeah, right. Yeah. And I was so close to like doing it, and he was like thank God he was like, man, like what are you doing? Like you live at home still. I'm 22.
Yeah.
Do you have a savings account? At that time, no. There was nothing in my savings. Yeah. That shit touched my fucking bank account. That was gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Coats, suits, whatever it was, right?
Yeah. Ranch.
No. yeah, ranch. Yeah. But he was like, bro, like learn how to save, man. And like, that's why I was like, when we were talking about the pro athletes who go like get broke, like I was making not even 10% of what they're making. Yeah. And how do you expect someone to just magically be good with money, right? Like you need that person to tell you like man, like not even invest, just save your fucking money. Like put it
don't be
aside,
stupid
bro.
about
just
it.
Don't be dumb about it,
you
bro.
Know what I mean?
Like for example, like that the coat there, love it.
Yeah.
21 when I bought it, it was $1,400. I look back at it now, I'm like, bro, I could have went to Walmart, bought an off-brand Canada fucking like, does the exact same job, good for minus 40 weather, blah blah, for $100 bro.
It does the same thing, you know what I mean? It's like there's no need to get that brand name. It's like it's nice to have those things kind of build up your confidence at times.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's just at the end of the day, what's the purpose of it? To keep you warm.
And if you need if you need clothes and like expensive clothes,
Goodwill.
Yeah, actually.
Like low-key, Goodwill slaps. I didn't even clapping about that.
I never shopped there, but it's
I shopped at Goodwill.
But
like good golf shirts there.
For example, like I was buying expensive suits, right? And I knew buddies of mine that were out buying watches that are a couple of $1,000, and my one friend who bought a car that he couldn't afford. If you need things like that, like expensive material things in your life to feel confident and to feel like, oh, this is gonna impress this person. If I need a fucking diamond chain and a car that's like $100,000, blah blah, to impress you, I don't need you in my fucking good life, bro. Like I don't care if you're the most beautiful woman in the freaking world, or whatever it is. Like I am good. Like fuck off, right? So, but you live and you will learn, right? Like bro, this is a Nike shirt. Like it was like $30.
Yeah, dude, it's H&M.
I was gonna say, bro.
For $7,
I was gonna say, bro. Like
no cost.
I think I shop at H&M and like athletic shit because I like to wear that, right? But
well, I feel like too, it's like how insecure are you if you have to put on a $2,000 watch, a $500 coat, drive a $60,000 car to feel good about yourself?
Yep.
It's like I feel like at the end of the day, it's just if you don't need those things to have confidence. You just need to like have confidence in yourself and feel like whatever you have is good enough.
I'll never lecture with someone how they spend their money because you work your ass off to do that, right? Spend however the hell you want to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're buying it to have that result of like I'm trying to impress this person, blah 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 blah, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Do it for yourself.
Exactly. If you genuinely want to have the Rolex watch because you love them and that's your passion or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
If it's for you, then spend your money however the hell you freaking want, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing it to impress with somebody else,
like if your main thought of going to the purchase, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wheel fucking 20 bitches with
this
shit. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bar.
I'm
gonna drop 10 grand.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna get 3 chicks on my lap tonight. We're gonna be living good.
Exactly.
But it's like if you do it because you're like, oh, that's like you appreciate the artwork of the watch.
Exactly.
And, like, all the time you actually enjoy these things. It's like I totally understand that. Like that's do as you will, but
explain to me why one of the richest men in the world, the Bill Gates, wears clothes from like Walmart and wears like he doesn't care, bro. If you have the money, and that's money that I'll never have.
It's like Mark Zuckerberg, man. He wears the same blue shirt every day.
That is money I will never have. I don't care if I invest into a crypto and make it big, I don't care what it is. I will never have the Facebook, Microsoft, that kind of like money, right? If you're rich, or even if you're wealthy, or even if you're just doing well for yourself, why do you have to show it off? Again, if it makes you like, if you feel better about yourself, then sure.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, nah, bro, it's just
waste of money.
Yeah, also
100%. I feel like, but there's so many people out there, and like obviously, like when I was 18, I thought money ruled.
Oh,
and like not even a lot of money, just like I had $500, and I was like, I'm a fucking pimp. Yo. I'm going to the bar. I'm having myself a good weekend. We're doing good, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like I feel like you at some point you should grow out of that phase where it's like money's important, and I understand it's a tool that's used in society to buy yourself freedom and buy yourself what you want to do in life at times if you have that mindset. But it's just like why spend it on things? And this thing that I just haven't wrapped my head around. Like I've bought like 3 expensive things in my life. And I regret them because I don't even fucking wear them.
100%, bro.
And they're just in my closet sitting there because I don't want to throw them out because I spend so much money on them. And I'm just like, I don't understand the concept of just spending all this money on all these material things that don't fucking matter. And these companies have just created this false, like, believe me, I understand how marketing works. I'm in marketing for school.
I know, believe me.
Like, I understand how to create a brand and make people think that there's some type of imaginary value in this brand. Gucci. What the fuck does Gucci stand for? I don't know. It's 5 letters in a row.
Literally,
They put
people were spending thousands of dollars
from China in a specific way. Why would I pay $2,000 for that
It's everyone trying to live the lifestyle without actually living that lifestyle.
It's a fake.
The amount of people, again, if you have it and that's what you want to do with your life, do whatever you want. Spend your money however the hell you want. But for me, at least, one day I want to have a wife. I want to have kids. Blah blah. My dad was a great dad, but he worked a lot because he wasn't really good with his money, right?
Yeah.
It was my mom coming to my sporting events and all shit, blah, blah. Like, when I have kids one day, I want to spend time with my kids and my wife and my family, right? So why not do that now and save as much money as you can now and invest or do whatever you want with it. So when that time comes, you can at least have that, like luxury of saying that, you know what, I don't have to work this extra shift to pay for X and Y, Z, blah, blah.
Yeah, you can start putting like your family in your life.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, yeah.
Because you don't need to worry about, I'll work overtime this week so I can afford this.
Exactly, yeah, 100%.
Right? Yeah. What about like traveling? Because I feel like traveling is one of those expenses where I feel it's so important to get out there and explore the world. You live one life and you live on one planet. Might as well go explore like the whole world while you can, right? Yeah. It's like this feature Mother Nature blessed us, so might as well go experience it.
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I'm a huge like history nerd, so I would love to go visit like Rome, go visit the fucking Aztecs where they like have all their shit.
Oh, buddy, we just opened Pandora's box.
Greece, literally every bro. I like. Have you watched that Netflix like? It's about the Roman like Caesars. It's
no.
It's on. I think it's called like Empire.
Who's it, like Rome, Julius Caesar? Is it about him?
So they do, so each like one is about a different like one. So there's I think one's Caligula, like the Mad King, and then one of them was Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
And then one was Tiberius and his son. Who the fuck was his?
Not Tiberius, the son. Like I know Julius Caesar's son's Augusta or.
That was his like adopted son, but
whatever it was. The guy who took over once he died.
Exactly, yeah. Like I would love to go and visit that, but and I probably will in the next probably the year or two. But I also want to do with someone that I sound kind of corny, but I want to do with my wife, man. Like I want to go visit
somebody you
know,
love
like,
with. Somebody
yeah,
you care
like
about,
like it's like I don't
share
need
that
them, but like
with.
I want to share with someone that that's at least my yo-yo mindset. But I would love to travel one day and go see but I would want to do it for for example my sister when she got married, she went to go see. She was in I think Germany, and she posted a picture of her there, but at the same time she posted one of when it was Nazi flags, and it looked the exact same, but there was obviously Nazi flags everywhere. And blah blah. Yeah. That's the shit I want to go see, right? So it'd be I don't know.
Have you ever heard about this is something I just learned this summer. I got really deep into this. I read a book about it, about how the when the Roman Catholic Empire invaded Greece.
Yep. That was when they were still the Republic, right?
I think so, yeah. And so what they have now discovered, this one guy's like discovered through these ancient Latin texts, is that when they Roman Catholic invaded Greece, there was actually a time where these Greek, like, who are like the really famous Greek people, like Jesus and Plato,
like Zeus and Hades. And all
all those like
Poseidon,
really prominent figures in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
They would actually go to this. Like, I'm very foggy on this right now. I can't remember the city name, but they would go to this city in Greece and they would meet with the gods. And so essentially, what was decoded through these Latin texts is that them meeting the gods was drinking this psychedelic brew, aka mushrooms. And then that's when they would get these ideas. They would talk to the gods, and they'd come back to society and implement these new things. And like Greece was the like foundation of how Western society was built, right? Like they created democracy and mathematics and shit like that.
Greece and Rome was like the Western civilization.
Yeah.
And the like Arab like kind of like empire was the actually no, sorry. There was the Arab, I think Emirates is what it was called, and then whatever. What China was like,
whatever
like,
that area was.
Go back then, yeah. And that's how the world was pretty much. Yeah. That's how like that's the three biggest like powerhouses, right?
So, what this book was talking about is how when the Roman Catholic invaded Greece, eventually they started to adopt these psychedelic rituals.
Of taking mushrooms.
Of taking like mushrooms, right? So there was one thing. There's two things in total. One, the first thing was the bread that they eat. So bread's very prominent in like Catholic religions. And what they think this is they've decoded it back to ergot, which is a psychedelic mold that forms in bread. And that's why they eat bread. And then the wine, quote unquote, in the Catholic religion is actually a symbolistic result of them using the psychedelic brew, which is now the wine.
I was going to say, so wine, I'm obviously a Muslim, right? But wine for Catholics, blah, blah, blah. It's essentially Jesus' like blood, right? Like that's what they drink for at church, right? Is that why they have bread as well too? Was because of something to do with that, or is that something else?
That's what they think. Like I'm not too sure what the actual like. I'm not the Bible. I don't know that fucking shit.
I mean,
but like this was just like the book was just like at this point in time when the Roman Catholic Empire invaded, they started to adopt these ideologies because they saw how far ahead Greece was. And they started to like go, how could we fucking better ourselves from using their technology? So they started to do this, and then that's how religion really got formed, and that was like it started to spread throughout the world.
That's insane though, how literally one of the greatest like empires of like all time still had to learn from somebody else to get to that like a point, right? Like
well, I don't even know if it was the greatest. It was just the most powerful.
Nah, bro. The Roman Empire, I think, was definitely the bro. They ruled fucking half the earth, bro.
See, I'm biased, man. I hate Catholic people.
I don't care what you are, but like I'm gonna judge you if you're a good person or not. I don't care if you're Jewish, Christian, Catholic. If you're a douchebag, I'm gonna tell you you're a fucking douchebag. But nah, bro. I mean, they owned all of Arabia. Pretty much, they owned all the Mediterranean. They were into Africa at like that point. Like they literally conquered half the fucking world, bro. So 100%. Bro, they had 50 million at the one point, and this isn't like times where 50 million was like.
What caused the fall of the Roman Empire? Do you know this?
It was how the emperors kind of ran to the ground. So when Caesar died, and they went from Augustus, and he went from the Republic, like the actual like Roman Empire. The emperors got worse, which that wasn't the actual downfall, but it was a huge like a part of it. But it was when the Ottomans pretty much just like came in and wiped them out. So
really, okay, who are the Ottomans? Where did they come from?
Ottoman Empire was like the Arabian like empire, so it was like it was before like do you know much like I'm huge into this, but do you know the Crusader times when they had like okay, so essentially it was before the Crusaders. It's like when there was like Richard like the Lionheart and the Salah ad-Din and blah blah blah. This was a step before that, and pretty much it was the Ottoman Empire was pretty much just a bunch of like random tribes that was actually not random, but like they weren't the conquered, but they all kind of like formed into one, and essentially Rome was already going through a downfall because of the previous empire, just like pretty much like running into the fucking like dirt, and they just had a war and they won. So
Interesting. So you think it was such a powerful, and it's like,
well, that's why democracy is so huge now, right?
yeah. Well, I think like one thing that, especially in today's society, we don't understand is how easily everything could fall. Like all these great empires that ever existed have always fallen, and the only two that really haven't are like the USSR essentially and the America.
I think it's a little different though, because I think the Romans, as successful as a one person ruling it all, like in that like hierarchy thing, that was what the downfall of the Rome was, right? And that's why till with like this day, even people who communist governments, blah blah, like sure they have one like leader, but he doesn't have all the say, right? He has a very big part of it, but he still has his council like members and blah 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 and all of that and blah blah. So that's why pretty much all the world is some form of democracy, whether it's like evenly spread out or it's one guy who has much more of a larger like say, but they pretty much destroyed themselves, right? By just that's what I'm saying. Like if you ever watch that Roman like I forget what it's called on like Netflix, but I think it was the episode of Commodus. I think it was the last season of it. He was like the first, like he was the beginning of the downfall of like that like empire. So.
How did Rome basically implode on themselves? Was it just like a lot of politics that got
No, it's
involved,
it's just the one guy who ruled it all, right? Like
like a dictator essentially.
Yeah, right? So before they were the Roman Republic, right? They had there was a group of Senate like members that pretty much ruled it, right? But when Caesar was trying to come into power, they killed him because they were trying to keep it the Roman Republic, right?
Yeah.
And then they had
he came in to try
war.
and make it a dictatorship, right? Caesar?
Yes and no. So he was losing favor. So he wanted to go. He was going to war for somewhere. I think he was trying to conquer the rest of, which was Britannia, which is like I think it's France right now or something.
Yeah.
Or something, right? But essentially he wanted power for I forget the exact like number, but it was X amount of years all to himself, right?
Yeah.
To help rebuild it because he thought Rome was supposed to be built a certain way.
Yeah, and he wanted full control over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, but he was going to give that power back eventually, but that was in like 15 years, which no one, if you have that power, like I've never had power like that, but I'm assuming if you have power, you don't want to just give it up, right? So essentially the Senate conspired to kill him before he went off to like war, and then there was 3 different like factions. It was the Pompeians, with Caesar, and then some other one. They fought for control of like Rome, and that's when Augustus ruled for like 50 something. Like I think it was 57 years. I don't know. It was some like long ass like thing there, right? But and then after that though, they just went like downhill. They just kept having shitty like emperors that would either bankrupt the Rome because they were trying to build like massive like monuments and stuff, blah blah.
Yeah.
Like it just when you have one guy who truly had all the power of the entire like thing there, it was eventually like doomed to like a fail, right? So
yeah, he's about to take one bad step.
Essentially, yeah.
So that's why you think that these like modern societies won't necessarily will fall with more difficulty because the responsibilities are more spread out and diversified throughout society.
Well, I don't think any of the major powerhouses will ever fall. I mean, times are different, right? Like unless they nuke half the fucking world, then we're all dead, right? But I mean, the powerhouses. I mean, America. But I think like North America and like general, the Russia, China, all the major powerhouses, they'll never fall, right? Like it's impossible, right? They're just built too well, right?
Interesting.
I don't think they will fall, but for example, like if you take things like when Palestine, right? Like how they're essentially losing all of their land. Like I think smaller countries like that will, but the powerhouses I don't think will
ever fall then.
No, I can't, bro.
Interesting. Unless like the only reason they would fall is because they've become so prevalent in society that it's basically the fall of humanity.
Well, I think the only way for these powers
If
to
they were
fall
to.
is if they literally adopt like a Nazi standpoint
Yeah.
and try to take over a part of the world, right? Like if America was like, we're gonna go to war with the Canada so we can expand our whatever.
Oh, we'd be fucked so quickly.
We would, but I mean China and like so the UN won't allow for another world war. After the second one, they signed some like things
Peace
in.
trip, Marshall
Yeah,
Plan, or whatever the fuck
exactly.
it was.
Yeah. So there shouldn't be another world war, but
You never know.
You would, you would never know.
Well, at the end of the day, it's just like USA and Russia are still at, I don't want to say at each other's throats, but there's still that tension between them.
Yeah.
And then through like Russia has, well, now Afghanistan, since they got invaded.
Yeah.
North Korea.
That's what I mean. Like the smaller parts of the world, I'm sure will change, right? Like for example, like Palestine was once owned by a bunch of Palestinians. Now it's owned by half of like freaking Israel, right? So which is a different like thing, completely, right? But like small places like that will be different, right? But America's not just gonna get nuked to like shit, and then there's
Russia's too smart to do that.
Yeah, like
well,
there's not gonna be any.
It's like the statement where they say nuclear weapons are the safest weapons ever built, because essentially what it is, like, well, if I use this, you're sending 3 back at me, then I'm sending 8 back at you, and then you're sending 20 back at me, and then we're all fucked.
But at that point though, like actually, I was talking to a guy at the work who's like, I don't want the vaccine because they're trying to kill us off and trying to blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, I'm sure if they wanted to kill off half the freaking world, man, I'm sure the thousands of nukes that they have would do a lot better than a fucking vaccine, right? So, like I'm sure you're fine, bro. I'm sure.
Yeah, but ethically they can't do that.
Fucking.
Have you looked into the? I've never talked about these before. But have you looked into like the
conspiracies?
The conspiracies with regards to COVID?
But I mean,
like the lab leaks.
Here's a little bit, but here's what I think. I mean, whether COVID was man-made to cripple like North America or cripple part of the world or blah blah, or if it was just like an actual genuine disease that got loose, that part I'm a little bit skeptical about. But when people are like, oh, they're trying to control us and put microchips in us and kill us and also blah blah, I'm like, bro, like, no offense, but no one, I have a fucking phone.
Like they can follow you.
Yeah, bro, like you'll be fine. But I think I don't know. It's just it's such a weird, like, I don't believe in any of the conspiracy when it comes to that, but when it comes to how it was created I've heard
that's
a
where
little bit of that.
there's a blurry line.
Exactly,
no, I agree with that as well too. Like I always say, regardless if it was created in a lab or not, this is kind of Mother Nature's way of getting rid of fucking the population. You know what I mean?
But even then, like, it's not really getting rid of a whole lot of the population. Like,
it really isn't.
Like, okay, the thing that people never talk about, COVID's killing, it's infectious, blah blah blah. But who are the people that are dying? It's not even the old people. Obese, unhealthy
people.
There
is a lot of like older people. That is usually because their immune systems are weak.
Underlining things, right?
That's like general public who are not above the age of like 70 or 80 or 60. Yeah. A lot of it has to do with just general fucking health.
Just your health, bro. Your health,
taking your vitamins,
100%.
Getting out to get some sunlight, working
100%.
out, like just not being a fat
the way
lard
you
and
eat,
jamming
the way you
McDonald's every day.
100%, man, 100%.
Yeah.
Like it's
And I actually do hate how, like, well, okay. Like, I'm not denying that the fucking the virus doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But I know, like, if you're a healthy person and you get COVID, your chances of survival go through the roof. You might get a cough for a few days and not be able to go to the gym for 5 days to a week. I understand that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if you are generally healthy, though, there shouldn't be too much of a fear once you get it. Well, but I know for me, it's like, oh, I don't want to give it to somebody else. I don't want to give it to my parents.
Yeah,
I don't want to give it, like, you know, so that's why I kind of like that. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not scared of COVID.
Here's the thing. I think
fight me, bitch.
It's
fucking fight me, COVID, bro.
I think it's.
You ain't fucking getting through this, boy. I take my motherfucking vitamin D.
I've never seen you fight anybody in your life.
I'll fucking one punch knockout COVID. You a bitch, boy. You a fucking bitch.
All of a sudden you're trying to knock some fucking. Okay. I was say though, it's like, for example, like when the vaccines first were out, I didn't want to get them.
Yeah.
I was never opposed to it. I wasn't like, oh, they're gonna try to control me. I wanted to see in the first year if there was any underlining like health issues that could potentially happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wanted to get it the second it was out. I just wanted to make sure, right? At the end of the day, it is my body, right? But
which is totally valid.
I mean, they're making it hard to work if you're not fully vaccinated. I'm not trying to pay $100 like every couple days for a year.
It's almost too much of a headache. You might
exactly.
You're kind of pointing so, like, fuck it. I'll just
yeah.
get it,
So
whatever.
like, I never was against it, and I was never like, oh, like, F this, blah blah blah. But I don't know, man. I think people are just like, bro, they don't care about you that much, man. I'm sorry. Like, they they really don't. Like, like they really don't. But
well, like, my thing is just like I don't know. I'm not against vaccines. I got the vaccine as soon as I could because I knew eventually at some point I would need to get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm vaccinated, does it like give me more optimism? I can fight it off better. Sure, why not? I mean, I was never too worried before. Like, I have asthma and shit like that.
Vaccine,
but,
like, it's supposed to do though, right? Like, it's yes. I'm the young man. I'm a 25-year-old man. I'm sure if I got the COVID without it, or even if I would do now, I'm sure my body could go fight it off.
Yeah.
People don't realize, or a lot of these like anti-vax, whatever it is the vaccine's meant to not give you it, but it's meant for your body to build up that immunity to it, and build up what it needs to fight it off, so it doesn't get to that point of you being hospital like ridden or whatever, blah blah. Right? So I don't know.
Well, like, I know there's like two ways that the vaccine works, and I don't know which one's which, but I know there's the one where essentially it like reprograms your cells. So basically it's a playbook to be like, hey, this is their attack, this is how you defend it, right? I know there's also one where it's just like they actually put the COVID into you and then you build the antibodies that way. But it's like at the end of the day, it's just
the same thing. It's just trying to build up your body's immunity, right? So
I feel like unless like your point of not getting the vaccine is being like, I'm getting microchipped, I don't want to get followed, like something fucking stupid.
You can fuck off,
but if it's like something where it's just like it's either like religion or like I'm not necessarily like I don't feel necessarily safe, or I feel like like, you know what I mean? It's like I weighed the risks and the benefits of it, and I understand it and everything like that. I understand that. Like, I don't know. It's I'm so indifferent about like the government forcing it.
Yeah,
but I'm also at a point where I'm just like I'm so tired of this shit. I just want to get it done already.
I think the reason why the government didn't enforce it more than any other vaccine that's ever happened is because how contagious it was, right? Like, people forget. It was obviously very big in like North America, but there was a video that I watched. It was I think it was in India, and there was literally piles of burning bodies in the fucking road that they had to burn because they didn't have nowhere to put the people that like died, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, COVID's not going to kill off the entire world. Its killer rate isn't very high to things like the Spanish flu and blah blah all of that, right? Yeah. But when you're 1 billion people and you have to start burning bodies because you don't have somewhere to like bury these guys, maybe it's time to get a hold of it, right? So,
or even
I think that's why they enforce it, right? Because they don't want it to happen anywhere else.
Well, I think that's one thing that we have gone away from. Is like the reason that the lockdowns exist is to mitigate how many people are in the hospital.
That's the biggest thing,
That's like that was like the thing where it was just like we got to help the health workers because like at the end of the day, like, somebody who has a nut allergy. I know if it was at a point where the hospitals were overrun and I was having an anaphylactic reaction and I go to the hospital, I might not get treated because they're overrun with other shit. So like I totally understood that, and I feel like the government's done a bad job at reminding the people, right? Because people are just like, they're just trying to fucking control us. And then once you start hearing that a bit more, you're starting it more and more and more, and that becomes your ideology. And you forget that the real reason that they are like restricting the amount people can go out is because of the hospital, so we can manage our healthcare system.
There's I don't know anybody close enough to talk about how like the life is inside the hospital during this, but I know a couple of girls that I just know from like high school, and they post all the
fucking
time.
Don't lie.
No, I don't.
Just jokes.
No, friends from high school who are they do with that now, right? And they post about it all the freaking time, and like I've seen it, and like it opened my freaking eyes. I was like, man, like there's so many ICU beds, and that's just fucking expensive, bro. Yeah. Like I don't know the exact amount, but like it's $10,000 plus to have one of these things, right? So I think there's only like there's under 100 in Alberta, right?
I think so, yeah.
Right, so like it's like fuck, man. Like if a disease is so infectious and put so many people in like those beds, one is like, how do you that's how people would die, right? It's not, they're not dying, at least from what I've seen, from COVID's not killing you because it's some deadly bubonic plague shit where you're
The
literally
second
dying.
you get it, you're done.
It's there's
like,
not
frozen
enough
stone.
space in the hospitals for you to get properly taken care of, and
Yeah.
that's what's going to kill you. We have the technology now to take care of it so you don't get to that point. But how do you do it when there's only under 100 beds, and you're the 101st?
Yeah.
You're just fucked. Like, you're really
fucked,
fucked.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
you're literally fucked, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I think they've done just a bad job at explaining that message. But I think there's a lot of hope though, because like, early on in the pandemic, like I watched a YouTube clip. I don't know how fucking official it was, but they said essentially what it is the viruses have different degrees, where it's just like if it spreads more easily, because at the end of the day, the viruses, their main goal is to evolve, right? Like that's all bacteria
100%.
is. And so there's like these two factors that determine, like, so it's the ability to spread and its ability to cause death. And the easier it is to spread, the less it kills people. But the higher the death rate, the harder it is to usually contaminate somebody else. So there's like this graph, and it's just like the easier it is to spread, usually it's less to kill. And that's where we're at right now with Omicron, where it spreads so fucking easy. Everybody and their dog seems like to be having it right now, which is actually a good thing because now it's at a point where it's really not causing a lot of havoc. It's not putting a lot of people in the ICU. It's not killing a lot of people. It's just more at a point where it's more of a common cold now than anything, which is what the plan was eventually. It just took us 2 years to get there. And I think this is like the final strain, quote, quote, to really kind of fuck us and put us in
How many
our...
people do you know have had the flu or in the last couple of years? Bro, I don't want to say COVID's the new flu. That's just like a brain dead, and that's I don't know the science behind it. But if I were just to be like, oh well, but like it seems like that's essentially what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
right?
it's just gonna be seasonal
evolving,
flu.
Yeah. So, but I forget the actual science behind it. But it's not the viruses. But what's the one? It's parasites that are living organisms. Is a virus a living organism? I don't know the exact science behind it.
I think so, technically.
If it is not, regardless, but it's always gonna evolve to find new ways to infect, because that's how it lives, right? That's how it eventually moves on, right? Now, again, this is a very like Neanderthal
amateur
take on it, like amateur. Like I don't know the science behind it. I don't know if it's a living organism. I'm just saying,
just read
like
3 Facebook articles
exactly,
on this shit.
essentially, right? But like that's like the very like basic term of like what a virus is meant to do, right? It's continually going to evolve, whether it's trying to live or just trying to infect the entire world. It's going to continuously do its thing to not just like die off, right? But that's the same as the fucking flu. So
well, I think it's important to at least understand the picture, because I know so many people don't actually understand like viruses, and like I don't understand shit. I'm dumb as fuck. You know what I mean?
I'm very uneducated.
But it's like you and I kind of at least understand like the basic image of how it kind of should be. And like I'm not biology, but you know what I mean? It's like we know how to say words to make it seem like
exactly.
We at least watch the news once a year.
No, I am
shit
not
like
educated about it whatsoever. But that's just the very basic of like what I understand about
Absolutely.
it. Right?
Okay, I gotta take a fucking piss.
God
damn,
I'm on my phone.
Oh yeah.
Netflix, but like you spelled when like in Netflix wrong. So what?
I had a Coinbase account for like crypto investing.
Yeah.
And it was just like your Coinbase account has been like sent out $300. I'm like, bro, I got no money in that fucking account.
Actually, speaking of that, we can actually talk about that. Are you like? Do you know a lot about the crypto and like that kind of shit?
Kind of. I'm not as big as Tommy's big into it.
Yeah.
Well, what about crypto?
Well, here's the thing. So I invested a little bit into it.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, I gotta get on the camera. Okay. Holy shit. Welcome back, people. I'm done peeing. Crypto.
So I've invested a little bit. I've lost some of the ones. I think I've only made like I've all lost a little bit. I think I'm only up like 400 or 500.
What coins have you put your money into?
Shiba was one of them.
Dogecoin to the moon.
No,
that's where my money is right now. But I gave up on crypto.
I had Shiba. There was one more I forget. I feel like good look at my cell phone, but is the reason why it's so big is that where like the future money is eventually like is that what it is, or
I don't know. It's like I don't want to say that's where money's going, but it almost looks like it. But then to the extent where it's just like it's not even regulated.
What's the thing? It's like, am I gonna go to McDonald's and give someone 0.1% of a Bitcoin to pay for my meal? Like
it's so unstable as well too. Like I know, like to summarize cryptocurrency, my roommate summarized the bet. It's like going to the casino. You never know what the fuck's gonna do. It's gonna go up and down, right?
Well, that's in investments in like general. Whether you're traditional like 500 or like a Fortune 500, the company is, or you're the crypto. But yeah, sorry, you were.
Yeah. So one thing that I will like kind of like summarize crypto, which is like makes me optimistic about it, is that when you really think about it, the reason money exists is because a group of people agree that it exists and it has value.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So as long as there's a community and a big enough community of people who believe in cryptocurrency, which is growing larger and larger every day, there will be value within this cryptocurrency, even if it doesn't necessarily have as much value as money does in society.
Well, that's essentially
but it's like art.
Well, that, you know what I mean?
Well,
that's any business in the world. Though. If you have enough people invest into your business, then it's gonna obviously whatever, right? But with that being said, I get that part. Like I understand that part, but the NFTs, bro, I've done research on it. I've done like hours of research on it. I still don't get it.
Really?
Why
I get them.
Is someone spending $200,000 on a picture of a bored ape? Again.
Okay, the apes are weird. I do not get the apes.
No.
This is the analogy that.
Why though?
I don't know. Like it's so the analogy that I was given about NFTs that actually made me understand NFTs was that. So when you see, so like I got into the NFT basketball trading cards with Top Shot. Yeah. And so I'll buy moments, I'll buy cards.
Yeah.
And you own these pieces.
It's like
moments.
art. It's like a collective thing.
Exactly, right? And it's just
like guy spending $1 million on a fucking the Pokemon card.
Yeah.
Like it's,
So people are just like, well, how do you own this if I can go watch it on YouTube?
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's the same analogy as say there's one copy of the Mona Lisa. But there's millions of pictures of the Mona Lisa.
I get like that side of it.
So like it's just like so if you have a picture of it, but you don't actually have the original copy. So like I understand that, but then like with the whole NFT things, it's just built on this whole blockchain thing. You know?
The art part I get, but who dictates why it's that much money? Like the Mona Lisa has been your, was it Da Vinci? Sorry, I don't know.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay. I was gonna say I thought it was like something else, but Da Vinci, he made this thing hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
I get that part. That's why it's
okay.
worth
I understand.
Whatever, right? But who's dictating
the artist?
That a bored ape is? Yeah, but like
so like with NBA Top Shot, it would be like technically the National Basketball Association has the rights to all the content that's been created on the basketball court, right?
Yeah.
And it's the so do you follow the Beeple crap guy on Instagram who makes really fucking rude? Oh, okay. So he sold the most expensive NFT. And he's this guy who makes.
Was that the one that was like a bunch of different moments in like one big picture, or am I talking about someone else?
Maybe someone else.
Okay.
He creates like really fucked up things like Donald Trump's and like politicians.
Oh,
and makes fun of them in baby
I've
diapers and
seen
stuff.
that.
So it's just like obviously the artist owns it, but I think it's just a digital way of owning art, right? Because it has a specific code to it,
I guess,
and it's the code itself that makes it the value itself, similar to as the picture itself makes it the value.
But how many people get like fucked over investing into like a new NFT project, the company?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And then all of a sudden,
I think it's just like with any art, as long as there's one person in that world who's willing to pay that price for it.
Yeah, fair enough. But that's any.
But that's like anything though, right? So I think it's just at the end of the day, it's just wrapping your head around that.
Like, bro,
there's a way that
the what? I'm a huge like Logan like Paul fan. He has the Pokemon cards that are worth millions of dollars. Like it's
fuck Logan Paul.
I mean, I'm more.
Tyson Woodley. What's his name?
What? No,
Tyron Woodley dove. He took a dive on that
but he didn't
2 times in a row.
He didn't fight Logan Paul. He fought his
brother. Jake Paul. Fuck
I don't like his brother,
planet,
but
bro.
I don't like his brother. But I was gonna say
wrong ball.
Yeah, right. Actually, speaking about the freaking athletes, Antonio Brown, man, that's a fucked up.
That's how we were gonna start the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
57 minutes later.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, what do you think about this whole situation surrounding Antonio Brown? Because there's been the first day you're like, this dude's going batshit crazy.
Yeah.
The second day you're just like, oh, maybe he has a fucking point.
Yeah.
And now he's just like calling everybody out, and you're just like, I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Okay. I have bled black and gold my entire life. I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan my entire life. I love when Antonio Brown was on our team. amazing. I'll never see anybody who's worked harder. He came from the 6th round, Central Michigan, blah, blah, blah. Amazing player, right? The way he handled himself and threw off the thing and, the way he left the actual, football field, yes, he could handle that a lot, better, right? But if his accusations are correct of him saying that the Bruce Arians or whatever coach cut him and did, the knife thingy and said, get the
especially when he was
out.
injured.
Especially when you're hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
I can get it to an extent. I've never played on that kind of level. I'll never will. So I don't understand what it takes to get to that point.
Level of dedication, sacrifice.
But if I dedicated my life to something like that and someone told me to get the fuck out, I'd be pretty upset about it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying what he did was right, but I can see from the mindset, right?
Yeah.
What he said about Tom and saying he's only my friend because I'm a good football player, blah 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 blah. And I'm not even a big Tom Brady fan. That's that to me is someone just lashing out at that part. I think has no place. The first part about it, I can kind of see it, but when he starts lashing out Tom saying he's not a great football player, it's a team game, which it is, but Tom Brady's a big part of that. And saying he's not the good friend and all this stuff and blah blah. I'm bro, this guy put his neck on the line for you multiple times, right? Yeah. So.
Well, and especially if he was saying that about Bruce Arians, I'd be justified because obviously there was some tension there,
100%,
right?
Yeah, 100%.
But it was just Tom Brady didn't cause the.
Bro, he backed him up even after he fucking threw off his equipment. He still. Well,
then he was just Tom Brady's the GM, and why am I playing for my money when Gronkowski doesn't have to play for his money?
Because you're a fucking cancer.
Exactly. It's because Gronkowski played 10 successful years in New England and won fucking games.
Antonio Brown
jumping around teams.
Has I think
fucking herpes.
I think he has right. I think he has 600 yards, but he only has 30 catches. I think
he's an animal,
which is unbelievable.
He's an animal
coming off the bench.
Yeah, he's an animal. He's such a good receiver.
Believe if he plays a full 16 game, is it the 17 now? But 17 game thing.
As a number one receiver,
either the best or the second best receiver in the.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Entire league. Bro, when are you gonna implode though? When are you gonna fucking ruin that team environment? It's about the catching the ball and putting it in the back of the end zone and being a great receiver and blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's a team game, and he even said himself, "Oh, team this, team that." Tom Brady's and all that. Well, how does your team work when you're just being a cancer and just blowing up on everybody? That's not a very good team environment, right? So
yeah, he's very hypocritical in those responses that he had on that podcast he went on. And that's the thing.
That's the one with the Nelk boys, right?
Yeah, if the story ended with him and his lawyer releasing that statement of what happened along with the screenshots, when those came out, I was like, oh fuck, that looks bad on Bruce Arians. This actually kind of justifies Antonio Brown. He'd probably get another shot in the league or something like that, right? Another chance to redeem himself at least.
I still think he'll play on another team, but
you think so?
Bro, he's too good on team, man.
That's true. He's
someone's gonna.
That's the fucking sad reality of that man. He's too good to be given another shot.
Bro, you're telling me you're trying to make a Super Bowl run, and you don't run.
Cardinals
receivers are
Cardinals
amazing,
pick him up.
But bro, he's the best receiver in the fucking league, man.
Really
you're not gonna take that chance to potentially win and have to deal with his bullshit.
Did you see the route he ran? The two routes he ran against the New York Jets was last game.
Wait, was that the one where he ran it was a corner back to a dig to the comeback and the DB was just fucking gone down the field?
Yeah, where it's he would be on the left side, DB would turn his shoulder.
Yeah, he would cut
other
sides,
side,
other side,
and the DB was just going back and forth.
He is the most hardworking. I think maybe not the best talented, but the hardest working, and it fucking the shows. He's amazing, right?
Yeah.
But
and he still has that. It's not like Juju Smith or DK Metcalf. You can tell early on they had that fucking drive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But obviously Juju got injured, which kind of fucked over my fantasy. Yeah. DK, he didn't have a quarterback for after, which also fucked my fantasy.
Not fair enough.
But there are a lot of young receivers with a lot of promising talent that kind of hit that point where they just kind of plateau early on in their career, and I think a lot of it has to do with their ego. But Antonio Brown's that one player, regardless of whatever the fuck he puts out and the stupid shit he does, he always just comes on the field and balls out.
Do you want what it is though? Yes, but you look at Terrell freaking Owens, who was a fucking baller, bro. A first ball, or he should have been the whoever it was, but yes, he had his team the problems, but never like this, bro. This is
ridiculous. Next level.
It was a Pittsburgh. And Mike Tomlin to me is the greatest coach of all fucking time because for 8 years,
low
bro,
key-
we never
low
heard
key-
shit about Antonio
Low key,
Brown.
I'm not gonna
and that didn't
argue
happen
that.
all of a sudden. That was like, bro, like
He's a great coach. So
to
underrated.
handle that, bro, for that long, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
But
well, they also had Le'Veon Bell as well too.
oh yeah, but Bell was never like
He wasn't that big of an issue.
he wasn't a cancer to the team. He's like none of his teammates said anything bad about him. It's just he wanted to get paid.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
plays
That's
a
fair. That's
position
fair.
that he doesn't have a very long shelf life, right?
I feel like as a running back, you almost get paid after you break out.
Yeah, which kind of
And then once, which kind of sucks, because then even like McCaffrey, him getting injured, kind of put that like whole stigma around running backs, where it's like, why would I pay for a guy?
Unless you're Adrian Pearson who plays for 15 years,
Frank
then
Gore.
then sure you can pay him. But yeah, exactly. Like Christian McCaffrey, MVP freaking like season. I saw a thing on the Bleacher Report a couple of days ago. They're shopping him like.
Yeah.
And he
went
won
from being
the
the
MVP,
best
like,
pick in fantasy football to being
really,
one of
bro.
the worst
Yeah,
picks.
like literally, bro. So
He
like,
does nothing now,
but he
which is
gets
like
it all the
sucks.
time,
He's a fucking beast out there.
But Chuba Hubbard gets his time to fucking shine.
That's
though, right?
true.
So
That was good. He had a good
that would
rookie
be cool to
season.
see.
He had a good
that
rookie
would
season,
that would be
man.
cool to see, bro.
Yeah.
I've never met the kid. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I know him. Like I've never met him. I
Roommate's
don't
actually
know
pretty
of him.
close with him.
Yeah, no, actually, but yeah, but it would just be cool to see him be one of like the best running backs in the league, bro. Just like knowing that he's from here, right? Like
Absolutely.
I think
that'd be insane. And I think like
that'd be very cool.
the nice thing was he got drafted to an organization that really wanted him. So it was the head coach's wife who was like, "Oh, you should draft this guy. Like, I really like him." So actually,
so
like there is that like connection with the he's not just another player. It's like like the head coach's wife or GM's wife wanted him. But I think he just got put in a good situation where not only does he have the ability to learn from McCaffrey, but he also gets to play in front of McCaffrey because McCaffrey's injured.
And he's playing with Cam Newton now too, which is another like.
Which is not bad at all.
Cam Newton's not the greatest.
He's not. He's
quarterback, but
there
I'm
are
sure
30.
he could
There are
teach
30
him a couple things
quarterbacks
about-
better than Cam Newton right now.
No, bro.
I think so.
No, I think he's still a top 15, top 10 quarterback, bro.
No fucking way.
MVP of the league at some point, bro.
Oh.
He was MVP of the league at some point, bro. What do you mean?
No, okay, so this
What
is
do you mean?
Carolina Panthers. This is what they should have done. Sam Darnold runs the offense from the 20-yard line to the red zone. And then Cam Newton just runs it red zone
Cam
every
Newton
time.
went from a team with no offensive line to the Patriots, who with Tom, the best quarterback of all fucking time, did not give him a single weapon. And you expect Cam to be Tom? No, man. He's just in bad situations.
I don't know, man.
I think he's still, bro. You know what? I think Pittsburgh, after Big Ben's done, is going to go with
Cam Newton,
No. Unless they draft for somebody, but
Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, bro. I think Cam Newton's better than Dwayne fucking Haskins.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give him that.
Like-
I'll give him that. Like I'm not saying he's top 15. Yeah. If anything, he's high 20 or
It's
in
just
low
it's
30s.
he's so old
He just
now.
needs the good situation
You know
though.
what it is? I think it's because he's so old now. You can get more promise from a younger guy, and the fact that he was in the MVP at some point, you expect that from him, right?
Yeah.
And when he's not producing that, it's like Cam, like
What are you
the hell
doing?
do? Yeah, right?
Well, and I think like he is so valuable in the red zone because he's a 6'5"
Yeah, you're running the hell
animal.
over, bro.
He's a tank.
We're running the hell
Like
over.
that's what I'm saying. Carolina should let
he's
Sam
240.
Darnold run through the main field, and then come the red zone where you need those 3-4 yards every play. Like what
But
better
does it-
quarterback to have than Cam Newton when you
but
just put
does
your
it get-
fucking helmet down and at least truck a
Lamar
DN?
Jackson, but I mean,
True, fucking fit. Like obviously, yeah.
But does it get predictable though? Like,
Kyler Murray actually.
No, but does it get predictable? You put in Cam Newton and inside the 20-yard line, and I'm sure these guys have they're smarter brains than we ever will be in football. I'm sure they have like some idea, like there might be an option or what wildcat run or a power run. I think it'd be a little bit too.
But that's the
at
thing,
that,
though.
level,
It's just like you could have a whole different playbook for him, though. So there is that unpredictability. You don't know if he's gonna throw. You don't know if there's gonna be a handoff. You don't know if he's the option. You don't know if he's gonna be QB draw.
They get that, but I mean, bro, you know, you play against like football teams. I play against football teams where they put in like a certain guy that you know is like a wildcat option. Sure, Cam Newton's on a walk. Like there's more whatever to it, but you're just aware of it. Like there might be an option play. There might be this, right? You're not really aware that when Sam Darnold is throwing the ball, like you're not thinking like you're ever right. So
that's fair.
Yeah, no, I think back to Antonio, like wrap on. I think he needs, bro. As men, you need someone in your life to be like, yo, like,
man, the fuck up.
Like, man, fuck up, just like to fucking check you, bro. Like, yo, like, bro, what you're doing is wrong, right? Like, I don't think he has that.
Well, especially at his age. Like, if he was, like, I understand, like, young people, there's that big learning curve. So, like, with, like younger players, you kind of lash out. Like, it's okay. I understand there's a learning curve, right?
But you're that old.
But it's just like when he's 34, he's been in the league. Like, he has kids, he has a family. I feel like at some point you have to understand that there is that sense of responsibility that you have to uphold in your life.
For example, like you watched that Nelk thing with him, right? When he was on the Nelk Boys podcast and Antonio Brown.
Oh, like 2 days ago?
Yeah, it was,
yeah.
So he's talking about all the people that like love him and his corner's so tight and blah blah blah, whatever it is. Yeah. They might love you, but you actually have somebody that can check you and be like, yo, you sprinting off the field half like naked, waving at like fans, like you're a fucking idiot for that.
Do you think if the story that the lawyer released and him released, if you think that is 100% true, do you think then that was justified?
Not at all.
You don't think so?
I can see from his like idea and like his like mindset of why it was. Personally, and now again, I'll never be at that like level, right? But personally, I think there's a better way to handle the situation. You don't strip half naked and start waving at fans and blah 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 stuff. Like, you're at the end of the day, you're not bigger than the game of like football, right? Like, you're really not. Yeah. You might be an amazing player, bro. Tom isn't even bigger than the game of like of football, right? Football and that league will move on like, eventually, and you'll be left behind, right? That's where I think he could have handled himself better, and why I don't think someone in his corner was like, Antonio, like, what are you doing? Like,
you burnt your bridges.
You're burning your. It's not good for your.
But that's the thing. If he's like 100% done with football, so be it. That's the way he wanted to go out. But I think if he really truly cared about football and like respected the game itself, he would have gone out differently.
Bro, he quit.
Yeah.
Whether your coach said something to you or not,
because you can always solve that, because especially during games, emotions are high, and like and especially in a situation like a pro football game with millions of dollars on the line all the time. I understand that, but at the end of the day, there's always a better way to handle that shit.
Well, they said that even his like lawyer said that there's nothing to do with the incentives, like of his because I know that he was behind on his incentives, right? Yeah, he was just mad about the massaging of the throat, saying get the fuck out. Yeah. You're done. You know about me being hurt. Why you make me run? But like that part, I understand, right? And if that part is true, then shame on all those guys who always preach, player fucking health and the safety blah blah, and then making them do that. Then the shame on them. But regardless of that, you're a grown ass man. You should not be half naked, running off the field. Like, you're a grown ass man, bro. Like, act like one, right? Like,
it's very immature to leave such a situation like that after 2 words and you leaving. Right? Like, I feel like if anything, you stay on the bench and you talk to them afterwards or something like that and find a solution to that. Because, like, especially when you're in a good team and you're about to win a championship.
I'm saying, bro.
And especially when there are, like, a few $100,000 and, like, or $1 million on the table for incentives for him to reach the next following week.
I don't think money to him is that big. I'm sure he can. I mean, I think him as a brand is big enough to make money for the rest of life. I don't think it's really. I mean, he gave up fucking $30 million. With the Raiders, all he had to do was make it to 1 down. Yeah. Literally play 1 down and you get guaranteed $30 million. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
What a life, man.
Honestly, right?
like shit.
But I also think that, like I said, man, it's who you have around you.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of yes men, or do you have somebody who's gonna fucking check?
Who's gonna check you? And as a man, you have to have somebody in your life as well too that doesn't just check on you when you're doing well. Has to check. Like, for example, like I have a good buddy of mine. Every couple of weeks, we always check on her. And actually, I learned this from it was the I Am Athlete, the podcast. It was when Brandon Marshall was. They do this thing where they check about your mental health, your physical health, your business your life, and your family life, right? And it's a scale from the 1 to 10 every week, a couple weeks, to whatever it is. 1 being the lowest, like I need help, and 10 being the highest, like I'm doing well, right? Yeah. And I have checkups all the time, and I think as men, you need to you need to have that, put away that macho mind, the mindset of like fuck everybody else. Like, I'm a man, I can't show fear and emotion and blah blah, and really have it with like whether it's a best friend, a group of friends, someone you don't even know how you're doing mentally, physically, the business mindset and your like a family mindset.
Yeah.
Too, right? So
Yeah. Well, I think it's very
I don't
important.
think he has that. So
This actually kind of came up in my last podcast when we were talking about mental health. How it's just like there's this stigma around males to hold that stuff in. It's like, shut up, you're a guy.
yeah, 100%.
Put your fucking head down and get to work.
Bro,
But at the end of the day, it's like we need that fucking support. We need that.
you need it, bro.
Yeah, sometimes like we need those confidence boosts. Sometimes we need those, or not even confidence boosts as well too, but the other way around, like reality checks as well too. Like if we're too much in our fucking heads and we're too much like out there, somebody needs to come up and be like, yo, bro, fucking check yourself. Like that's not who you are. You need to get back to square one and get back on your shit and something like that.
What do they would teach you from the first down of like football you played? And me and you're obviously a lot like get better than me, but me and you will never be on that like level of Antonio Brown, Brandon Marshall, of that high of a football player. But from the first time you would touch the ball, don't show emotion, don't show fear, don't show you're hurt, don't show nothing. You're a fucking man. Man up. Go hit this is somebody. And it's something that if you any sport you play, or even just growing up as a kid, right? Like what taught? Men don't cry, men don't show emotion, blah blah. Bro, mental health, I will give up being 12% of body fat, veiny as hell, ripped as shit in a heartbeat if that means that mentally I'm more happy with myself than anything else. 'Cause that shit, bro, people kill themselves.
Absolutely.
All the
Especially
fucking time,
suicide rates are so high in guys.
It's so high, bro.
Well, and
no
like,
one has that, right?
Like Chase was on the last podcast and we got deep into this, and he opened up about how he was suffering with like basically anorexia.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to maintain this image of him staying so lean and so cut that he was sacrificing everything in his life. He wasn't enjoying any aspect of his life because he had this one goal. And I think there's nothing wrong with necessarily achieving like goals in your life and sacrificing for these goals, but there is a line to the sanity where it's like if you are achieving these goals, like it just got some point where it's not worth the sacrifice for your mental and physical health. Like you need to check these things. You need to prioritize these things. Like you need to take, like I always say, self-care Sundays.
Something, bro. Something.
You know what I mean? We just fucking light up a candle and take a bath.
The most important thing in the fucking world.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter how fat you are, how jacked you are. Which actually, speaking of Chase's like body transformation from like I think it was a couple of years ago where he was like he posted a picture of like his school trip and then like what he
trip. Yeah.
It looks fucking amazing. Like I wish I could get down to like that again, right?
Yeah. But that was the thing. Like it wasn't like for like kind of what you mentioned. It was just like for his mental health, it wasn't worth it because he was sacrificing everything. And like I don't think being that jacked and being that strict is not good for most people unless you're a fucking Antonio Brown or something who has these goals and dreams to be the best in the world and you know you're that fucking like the 1% of the 1%. Even though, but if you're just like kind of an average, I don't say average person, but
like I said, even like I said, like even that, like as men, we need to do a better job with our friends, fathers, whoever it is, whoever is your like fallback when you're having a hard time, right? You have to check up with each other. At least I believe now. And again, I'm not coming up with saying like this is my mindset. I learned this from a bunch of like professional athletes who do this, but it was the I am athlete thing, but
great podcast actually.
Great podcast. But you have to check out both. Yeah. The mental health, the physical health, the business health, and the family health. Like
absolutely, man.
Scale of 1 to fucking 10. Where you at? Do you need help or are you managing? Right. So. So.
No, I definitely agree with that. It's just something that just becomes more prevalent, though. But I don't know, man. I think that's the best way to end this podcast.
Yeah, honestly, I think mental health is the best way to go. So.
Absolutely, bro.
How long have we been going for?
I saw this one meme, hour 16, 30 minutes. I saw this one meme one time where it's just like, yeah, I thought about going to therapy. Started a podcast instead.
Which, speaking of, don't close the gyms, man. That's fucking.
Amen to that.
Therapy,
don't. That's the worst way to fuck people.
That's my therapy, all right?
Anyways, though, thanks, Hamzah, bro, for coming on, bro. All love, man. Fucking love you, bro. Appreciate you. All right, peace, yo.
It's off the dome. Go check it out.
Escape reality with Matt Z.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent.